Assalamu alaikum. Today we shall discuss theoretical framework. Theoretical framework is the concept which becomes familiar to the scholars at MS, MPhil or PhD level in the very beginning of their studies when they start reading the literature. Theoretical framework is made of two words, theoretical and framework. From this we can define it as a framework which represents something theoretical, and theoretical means relating to theory. So a framework which represents something theoretical or theory. Now the word framework actually refers to the model or structure in which there are different parts and they are connected together. These relationships between the parts or factors are more precisely in social research variables. These relationships between the variables or factors makes it a structure or framework. Therefore, the theoretical framework refers to a structure wherein there are variables or factors and that are connected together in the form of a theory. So, theoretical framework represents the theory which is made of variables and interrelationships regarding a particular topic selected by the researcher. Now, who gives the theory and how the theory appears in the literature? Theory is given by experts or researchers, and it is in the form of a claim by the researchers or experts about certain factors and their interrelationships. For example, social media affects political awareness. This is what is available in the literature as a claim by the researchers or experts on this area of study that social media affects political awareness. Now you see, social media is factor one and political awareness is the second factor in this claim, and the word affects shows it tells us about the type of relationship between these two variables. For example, affects, social media affects political awareness, which means that the direction of effect is from social media to the political awareness. Likewise, employee motivation is changed by the transformational leader or manager. Here we can see that the impact of transformational leader is being discussed on the employee motivation. From research point of view, social media affects political awareness, so social media is independent variable and political awareness is playing the role of dependent variable or test variable. Likewise, in this claim, employee motivation is changed by transformational leader or manager, means that the transformational leadership is the independent variable which affects the employee motivation. So, the theoretical framework, which actually talks about the theory, framework simply refers to the presentation of the model or theory in the form of text. This is the textual representation or demonstration of the theory behind the topic. And then we can use graphical tools to represent the model or theoretical framework in the form of boxes, like box 1 represents the factor 1, box 2 represents factor 2, and the arrow represents the effects or change. It represents that SM is affecting PA, so SM is independent variable and PA is dependent variable. Likewise, transformational leadership changes the employee motivation, so GFL is independent variable and EM is dependent variable. After this understanding of theoretical framework, I would comment that if that is the role of theoretical framework, that it represents the theory behind the topic, and theory says what are the factors or the variables in the theory and how are they connected together. what is the direction of their relationships. If that is the theoretical framework, then in other words, theoretical framework works as a soul of the research project. It is the engine of the research project, and it is a complete guide for the social researcher to conduct any kind of research activity. So given this, the theoretical framework as the central and the prime major theme of the research process in social research and any other research, we can conclude that research is a process of data collection and analysis for the sake of, number one, generating the theories and then testing the theories, thereby adding knowledge to the existing knowledge, existing body of knowledge. When we say theoretical, final point is that theoretical refers to theory, then theory exists in the form of knowledge in our mind or in the form of theory. Actually, theory is the part of knowledge, but it is that part which has to be tested. When a theory is tested and it turns true that whatever was claimed in the statement or hypothesis, or whatever was claimed, if it is verified by the situation, then the theory becomes knowledge. But if it is not accepted as a truth, as a valid hypothesis in a particular setting, then it means that the theory needs some changes. So when we bring changes in the theory as per requirements of the situation, then the theory works as knowledge in that particular situation. So finally, I would comment that the theoretical framework is the most critical part in every social research process, and the student has to understand not instantly but continue understanding the role of theoretical framework in helping the scholar at different steps or levels of research. Today we shall continue our discussion on theoretical framework. In our previous lecture on the same topic, we learned that theoretical framework represents the theory. Theoretical framework is not theory, it represents theory, and theory is the part of knowledge, but that knowledge should be tested further. Theories are given by the researchers or experts or professionals in a particular area of study. So whatever they claim, they present their theories in the form of claim we discussed in our previous lecture. Those theories are also based on certain facts and logical arguments in the support of their theories. However, knowledge requires testing. A theory needs to be tested to become knowledge. For the sake of testing, we develop theoretical framework. So theoretical framework is the transformation of the theory into a model which becomes a guideline for the researchers, a model for the researchers to test the theory and come up with the results of application. Now, if the results are yes, then the same theory will be taken as knowledge in that particular situation. But if the result is no or result is B, then it remains the theory and needs to be adjusted in theoretical side or in the environment where the theory was implemented. Let's take another example. Impacts of transformational leaders on employee motivation. There is a theory or claim by the researchers that transformational leaders who are actually participative and people-oriented leaders, they have positive impacts on the employee motivation. This theory also warns that this relationship is also affected by the organizational culture and designation respectively. Now, this theory, which is given in the form of a textual statement, can be presented in the form of a graph. This graph shows four variables. Transformational leader, the main independent variable, affects the implied motivation. The test variable or dependent variable, it is mediated by organizational culture and it is moderated by designation of the respondents. So, it shows that the theory actually contains facts. Transformational leaders are facts. Implied motivation is a fact. Likewise, organizational culture is a big factor, and the designation is also a fact. All these facts play their roles, but whether or not this statement is executable in every organization or not, it needs to be tested. To close my discussion, I will end with another example. In Pakistan, we are using democracy as a piece of knowledge because it is available in the books, it is available in all the library. It is also accepted as knowledge by many countries who are implementing this theory or this piece of knowledge. Now in Pakistan, the results from the execution of democratic values is not promising. Therefore, in our country, democracy is more popular among the politicians but less popular among the people, among the citizens. The reason is that this theory is more useful and more promising for the leaders, but it is not delivering whatever is expected by the citizens. So in Pakistan, democracy is a theory partially, but it is also knowledge partially for some people. Khuda Hafiz.